have?
Well, it looks like this resolution is going to pass, Anand. It looks like all 15 Security Council members are on board to pass this resolution. And what a remarkable week it has been. What a change this is. Days after the crackdown in Libya started, the Security Council came out with a relatively weak statement, some would say, a weak response, a slow response, although by UN standards some might argue that point, basically calling for an end to the violence. Initially there was a lot of resistance to do any more action so soon, but we've seen momentum growing all week long, and yesterday European delegations here started drafting a resolution just yesterday, and tonight, one day later, it looks like all 15 council members are on board to support what some UN watchers have described one of the strongest sanctions resolutions they've ever seen, certainly one of the quickest resolutions to be passed in recent history, and only the second time that the Security Council will refer a nation to the International Criminal Court. So right now, delegates are gathering in the Security Council chamber. As you said, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is here, Libyan ambassadors are here, and we are expecting a positive vote, a unanimous positive vote on this resolution any minute now.
Kristen, there appears to be a lot of talking on this resolution. Delegates were deliberating the resolution all day today. What were those major sticking points that they were trying to overcome?
Well, it was this referral to the International Criminal Court that really was the sticking point. Some delegations were arguing that perhaps a more nuanced approach to the issue would be more favorable, would have a better result. But the Europeans, particularly the French, were pushing very hard to get this referral in there. They felt and argued that and it's the same argument we're hearing from the United States as well, that by making this referral to the International Criminal Court, they don't expect it to have a big impact on Muammar Gaddafi himself, but perhaps the people around him in government, his inner circle, might have second thoughts and start to turn against him if the threat of an international prosecution for crimes against humanity is hanging over their heads. So they made that point very strongly, and the turning point seemed to be when the Libyan ambassador to the United Nations sent a letter to the president of the Security Council saying that he too supported this resolution. He too felt that this referral to the International Criminal Court was important and something that that should be done, and that seemed to turn the corner from people who were, or delegations who were not convinced that that was the best way to go.
And as you've been telling us, this has taken place in a very short space of time. The resolution was only drawn up yesterday, and they're going to be voting on it right now. What's the mood like there in the council chamber?
Well, there's been this sense of urgency growing throughout the week. And as I said, in the middle of the week, there was skepticism that a consensus could be reached, certainly not before later next week. There was China and Russia voicing concerns about needing more information about what was happening on the ground, concern about meddling in the affairs of a country. You know, essentially this is a problem that is internal. The Security Council traditionally is thought of as a place that deals with threats to international peace and security, and this was within the borders of Libya. But, you know, the momentum has just been growing. And yesterday, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon gave a very passionate speech saying that, you know, hours and days were going to cost lives. And you had the Libyan ambassador himself breaking down in the Security Council chamber, begging, really, for the Security Council to do something to help the people of Libya. And so there's been this growing sense of urgency. And one of the diplomats said to us off camera, you know, how can we take the weekend off and be seen as doing nothing when the situation is so grave there? So really, I think the ambassadors here got the message, felt the pressure internationally to do something to stop the bloodshed, and they described the mood in the council as overwhelming sense of solidarity and consensus.
Okay, thanks, Kristen. We can see there the United States UN Ambassador Susan Rice taking her seat at the council chamber. Just a moment ago, we saw a picture of the Brazilian ambassador to the United Nations. Brazil, there she is there right now. Brazil, of course, holds the chairmanship of the Security Council right now, and she is beginning to speak. Let's take a listen.
Unless I hear any objection, I shall consider the agenda adopted. The agenda is adopted. Under Rule 37 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure, I should like to invite the representative of the Libyan Arab Jamahiriya to participate in this meeting. I wish to welcome the presence at this meeting of the Secretary General, His Excellency Mr. Ban Ki-moon. The Security Council will now begin its consideration of item 2 of the agenda. Members of the Council have before them document S/2011/95, the text of a draft resolution submitted by Bosnia and Herzegovina, Colombia, France, Gabon, Germany, Lebanon, Nigeria, Portugal, South Africa, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and the United States of America. It is my understanding that the Council is ready to proceed to the vote on the draft resolution before it. I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2011/95 please raise their hand?
Yes. Okay.
The result of the voting is as follows. The draft resolution received 15 votes in favor. The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 1970/2011. I shall now give the floor to members who wish to make statements after the vote. I now give the floor to the representative of the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Madam President. The British government welcomes the unanimous adoption of Security Council Resolution 1970. The United Kingdom presented the text of this resolution because of our grave concern about the appalling situation in Libya. The violence we have seen and the incitement to further violence by Colonel Gaddafi are totally unacceptable, and my government has expressed its profound condemnation of them. Today's resolution demands an immediate end to violence and repression, full respect for human rights and international law, and accountability for those responsible for the violence. It gives practical effect to those demands through travel bans, asset freezes, an arms embargo, and immediate referral to the International Criminal Court. Adoption of Resolution 1970 by all 15 members of this Council is a powerful signal of the determination of the international community to stand with the people of Libya and defend their right to determine their own future. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the United Kingdom for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of India.
Thank you, Madam President. I take the floor to state that India has been following with serious concern the developments in Libya, which have resulted in loss of numerous lives and injuries to many more. We deplore the use of force, which is totally unacceptable. We earnestly hope that calm and stability are restored at the earliest without any further violence. We also have concerns about the safety of Indian nationals and their assets in Libya. We urge the authorities there to ensure their safety and welfare and facilitate departure of those desirous of leaving the country. Madam President, India is not a member of the International Criminal Court. Of the 192 members of the United Nations, only 114 are members of the ICC. 5 of the 15 members of the Council, including 3 permanent members, are not parties to the Rome Statute. Moreover, we would have preferred a calibrated and gradual approach. We, however, note that several members of the Council, including our colleagues from Africa and the Middle East, believe that such a referral would have the effect of immediate cessation of violence and restoration of calm and stability. The letter from the permanent representative of Libya of 26 February 2011, addressed to you, Madam President, has called for such a referral and strengthened this view. We have, therefore, gone along with the consensus in the Council. In this context, we draw attention to paragraph 6 of the resolution that concerns nationals from countries not parties to the Rome Statute. Similarly, the resolution also recalls in its preambular paragraphs Article 16 of the Rome Statute, under which no investigation or prosecution may be commenced or proceeded with by the International Criminal Court for a period of 12 months after the Security Council request to that effect. I thank you.
I thank the representative of India for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of South Africa.
Madam President, South Africa remains deeply concerned at the deteriorating situation in Libya, which has resulted in untold atrocities and countless loss of civilian lives. The Libyan people, joined by the rest of the international community, have been calling for an end to this indiscriminate use of force. Echoing this call, the Libyan delegation, appearing before this council yesterday, pleaded for, and I quote, a decisive, rapid, and courageous resolution to put an end to the bloodshed and killing of innocent people. The Council has responded swiftly and resolutely to this call. Madam President, this unanimous resolution sends a clear and unambiguous message to the Libyan authorities to end the carnage against its people. It further complements the decision of the African Union Peace and Security Council, which strongly condemned the indiscriminate and excessive use of force against peaceful protesters and called upon the Libyan authorities to end forthwith all acts of violence in accordance with international humanitarian and human rights law. Madam President, we are confident that the measures contained in this resolution will contribute towards the long-term objective of bringing peace and stability to this sister nation. South Africa calls on the government and people of Libya to seek a speedy and peaceful resolution to the current crisis in accordance with the will of the Libyan people. I thank you, Madam President.
I thank the representative of South Africa for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of Nigeria.
Madam President, we are indeed glad to have arrived at a decision point on the situation in Libya. Nigeria remains deeply concerned about the escalating violence, the inflammatory rhetoric, and the deplorable loss of life we are witnessing in Libya. The African Union, the Organization of the Islamic Conference, and the Arab League have all condemned the disproportionate use of force against civilians in Libya and have called for the immediate cessation of such violence. It is therefore fitting that the Security Council has taken decisive action